wise, the simple. And Jesus said in Matthew 5:18, when speaking in context of the Ten Commandments, he said, "For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled." And Paul declared, the law is holy and the commandment holy and just and good. The psalmist writes, "Your law is truth." Psalm 111, 7 through 8, "All his commandments are sure, they stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness." In Psalm 119, "Great peace have they who love your law, and nothing causes them to stumble." At the cross, Jesus didn't do away with anything like "thou shalt not murder" or "thou shalt not steal." Jesus knows how to respect God and man. At the cross, Christ did away with the ceremonial laws of the animal sacrifices. These animal sacrifices, which pointed to Jesus as the Lamb of God and the plan of salvation, these were the Old Testament sanctuary of types, also referred to as the shadow. These literal animal sacrifices were done away with at the cross when the Lamb of God was slain. But the moral law of 10 Commandments, which is found before Mount Sinai, is forever and for everyone's good. So reviewing verse 2, King Nebuchadnezzar sent to gather all the satraps, administrators, governors, counselors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, officials. These were all the rulers of the land, all the politicians and governors. Notice here on the plain of Dura that the political leaders of the realm were enticed and involved in this religion. Remember, Babylon here is a microcosm of our world. Just about all the world leaders were involved in this universal religion. Verse 3, the leaders gathered together. As a result of this universal religion, there is a unity that comes about. This is ecumenism, the unifying of the churches under one great religion. Jesus said in Matthew 7, verses 13 and 14, "For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it." Jesus made it plainly clear, and again supported here symbolically in Daniel 3, that the majority is the cult. Verse 4, the decree goes forth, "It is commanded." This religion has now become state-enforced, the combination of church and state. Notice here in Daniel 3 that we've got all the leaders and people coming together and gathered to honor this universal religion at the state's authority, all in disobedience to God. This whole thing is a microcosm of the New World Order. Also of note, pun intended, is the verse 5 in which horn, flute, harp, lyre, psaltery, all kinds of instruments, music, lots and lots of music, all kinds of music were being used to influence the people. Here in Daniel, all kinds of music were used to make people feel good about doing bad. This religion and decree of Nebuchadnezzar's even had the air of celebration while commandment breaking. Remember the Israelites left Egypt by faith and were heading to the Promised Land? When they got to Mount Sinai, they formally received the law of 10 Commandments. There, two parties formed. The minority, the remnant, the Levites, kept the law. They accepted it. And the others, the majority, rejected it. They threw a party and made an idol. Notice here in Daniel how a similar thing is unfolding. Entertainment was such a huge part of Nebuchadnezzar's religion, in particular using all forms of music to appease and draw in the crowd. Isn't this a problem today with modern and nominal Christianity? Isn't today's Christianity, or worldly Christianity, so full of entertainment and some of it heavily based on emotion and feeling? A religion of more emotions and less doctrine? A foundation of more feeling and less truth? Jesus said, "Build the house on the rock," not the up and down roller coaster ride of emotionalism. This seduction strategy through music is occurring today, in both the secular world and in the church world. Nebuchadnezzar, here in Daniel 3, a representative of the devil, was using music to help people feel good about bowing down to false religion, helping them feel better and woo them about defying God and breaking the Lord's commandments. And in verse 6, Nebuchadnezzar's decree said, "Whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast immediately into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." If you don't go along with the crowd, a death penalty gets enforced. This is persecution, a penalty for not obeying the religion. This penalty included death. Let's pause for a moment and consider God's beautiful creation. Do you like flowers, mountains, or nature? There are a couple of nature videos with mature Christian music called Back to Nature Flowers and Back to Nature Mountains. These videos are good for relaxing, healing, and inspiration. If you'd like a break during your day, or if you can't get away, or you'd like a breath of fresh air, check out the series Back to Nature Flowers or Back to Nature Mountains. God bless you as we explore God's beautiful creation. And now, back to Daniel. So King Nebuchadnezzar set up his image, and this speaks much to our time today. Further, there are many parallels between Daniel 3 and Revelation 13. Revelation 13's two beasts, in particular the second beast, the earth beast, verses 11 and onwards, they parallel what we saw in Daniel. You can review Revelation 13 in the video Prophecy Part 4, USA in Bible Prophecy, which also covers the mark of the beast. So let's look at many parallels between Revelation 13 and Daniel 3. First, in Revelation 13, we had a beast, which represents a powerful nation. In Daniel 3, we also had a powerful nation, Babylon. Both chapters are dealing with a powerful nation. Revelation 13, an image to the beast is made. In Daniel 3, an image is set up. In Revelation 13, the beast is associated with the number 666. In Daniel 3, the number 6 is foundational to the image. In Revelation 13, the beast caused the earth. It involved the whole world, a worldwide movement. In Daniel 3, it affected all people, nations, and languages. In Revelation 13, the beast caused worship. In Daniel 3, Nebuchadnezzar caused everyone to worship. And in both, everyone who didn't comply with the forced worship was threatened with a penalty. These two chapters help show an attack on worship. Worship is the issue at stake. Jesus defined proper worship in John chapter 4, verses 23 and 24. Jesus said, from the Gospel of John, "The hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth." True worshiping is worshiping God in both spirit and truth. The first 4 commandments show true worship. When we do this because we like God, we care about him, we love him. And especially we love Jesus because we appreciate who he is and what he's done. This obedience and respect is an outworking of love which resulted from Calvary's cross. Jesus' light and his love, which exploded there, reaches us and changes us. That's why Jesus said so plainly in John 14:15, "If you love me, keep my commandments," referencing the second commandment in the 10 Commandments. The first 4 commandments say, have no other gods, have no idols or images, respect the Lord's name, and remember the seventh-day Sabbath. In our world today, in this great controversy, this big battle between good and evil, this law is so very important, and the devil's attacks have been culminating on these aspects of God. All this is being done behind the scenes. Among other sinister things, the devil has been vying for the worship that is due God. The devil uses all kinds of trickery, including trying to change the law of God, or even telling people in church, don't worry about it, or even teaching that grace means, in effect, that you can keep sinning and ignore God's plan for human life. These are the first 4 commandments, which deal with our vertical relationship to God. Here in Daniel 3, we find an attack on the law of God. The first commandment is attacked as King Nebuchadnezzar serves other gods, the Babylonian false gods. The pagan king sets an image and commands worship, forcing idolatry. Nebuchadnezzar himself sets himself apart from God, not only with his action, but even disrespects and challenges the Almighty, when by saying, "Who is this God?" working against the